Welcome to the Happiness Matters podcast, where we'll explore happiness at work and show you how to coach yourself to be happier there and more successful too, no matter what.
Today is our question and answer session to follow episode 1.5, where we started looking more deeply into what's stopping you from being happy and successful at work. I'm Julia Seal, and this week I'll be discussing some of the questions that you've sent me. I hope that answering these questions will help each one of you as you explore the space in between where you are now and where you want to be when you say happy and successful at work, no matter what. Sending me your questions and having them answered here on the podcast rather than individually means that so many more people can benefit from what we discuss. You can submit your questions at any time or at any stage of your coaching journey, either in our Facebook coaching group, that's Happiness-Matters.coach on Facebook, or directly on our website at Ask Julia on www.happiness-matters.coach. So before we get into these questions, let's sketch out what we covered last week. In episode 1.5, I introduced the next step in our first series, Defining and Assessing, mapping out the journey in between where we are now and where we want to be in our happiness and success at work. This step follows the work done in our earlier episodes, where we explored our happiness now and how we're currently defining it, and then we went through a visioning process to define what 10 out of 10 is on our happiness ladder. If this is the first time you've tuned in, you'll find something interesting in our discussion today that will start you off in learning how to coach yourself. You can then start the journey for yourself when you're ready to listen to the previous episodes. Also remember that your questions are always welcome wherever you are on your coaching journey. Now, last week was fun, wasn't it? All the talk of Harry Potter and Odysseus and the River of Misery in Hades. I used these well-known journeys from Western culture to illustrate what this coaching process journey from your point A to your point B is all about. As we mapped out the space between your A and B, we looked at all the obstacles standing in your way, why you're not already at your goal right now. What's stopping your happiness and success now? Then we applied 3 self-coaching tools to shed light on the path ahead for you. The free worksheet, my coaching tool called Your Future Self Journey, supports you through this process. So don't forget to download it if you haven't already done so. You can find it on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach, under the menu Free and Fun. That's easy to remember, isn't it? The first question I want to answer is one I received about if you have been abused in your past. This came from someone who wanted to know if she should be looking at coaching or therapy to help her move forward in her life. We spoke about this last week when we applied the self-coaching question to your obstacles, past or future. Are they things from your past or are they concerns about your future? Our listener was asking if I thought coaching would help her heal from abuse in her past, or if she should go and see a psychologist. This is a very personal question, obviously, but I thought today I can expand on what I said last week in the hope that it helps those of you out there with the same question. So to start with, my point of view is that both methodologies work. Both work in moving you from point A to point B in your life. Both are valuable. Absolutely. It's knowing which one to use when. An easy rule of thumb is to remember that coaching is future-focused and traditional psychotherapy tends to be more past-focused. Some obstacles, or rather strategies, need you to focus your efforts in the past before you can move forward, psychotherapy, and some obstacle strategies need you to put the past behind you and focus your efforts towards the future, coaching. Another way to look at it is if you are not functioning in your life right now due to pain and trauma in your past, then therapy is absolutely for you. If you consider yourself as functioning well in your life but still suffering in some way, or you're finding yourself stuck in moving forward, then coaching could be for you. From this perspective then, I'd suggest that our listener seeks psychotherapy, and psychotherapy might come by different names depending on the country you're in. These are highly trained and externally regulated professionals. They would diagnose a non-functioning problem that therapy would solve. This would give her the opportunity to go back to what had happened in her past, make what sense she could of it, and start healing. I'm an accredited coach with the International Coach Federation, and so abide by their regulations and code of ethics. So I thought I'd read out an extract on their website for you. Therapy deals with healing pain, dysfunction, and conflict. The focus is often on resolving difficulties arising from the past that hamper an individual's emotional functioning in the present, improving overall psychological functioning, and dealing with the present in more emotionally healthy ways. Coaching supports personal and professional growth based on self-initiated change in pursuit of specific, actionable outcomes linked to personal or professional success. Coaching is future-focused. While positive feelings and emotions may be a natural outcome of coaching, the primary focus is on creating actionable strategies for achieving specific goals in one's work or personal life. The emphases in a coaching relationship are on action, accountability, and follow-through. In this example, coaching would be suitable for our listener if she had already been in therapy and was wanting to move forward and focus her energies towards the future. In other words, if she wanted to work on her goals, knowing that her past was an obstacle to explore, but not one that is halting her current progress. To give you an example from my own experience as a coach, what often happens in coaching as we deeply explore what's actually stopping us from our dreams, our future vision, we do come across more painful things in our past that are blocks in our journey. If you're a successful person already, but there's this one thing from your past that you can't get beyond, depending on what these blocks are and the impact they're having on you is where we need to think about our next move. Your coach and you can decide whether to continue coaching or to take a time out while you work with a therapist for a while and come back to coaching. Another option that can work is that you work with your therapist and your coach at the same time. This works really well. I hope this explanation is useful to anyone listening who is trying to work out if coaching or therapy is the route for them. As I said last week, if you want to know which path you should be taking, you are most welcome to book a short consulting session with me. You can do this on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach, and click on the Coach with Julia yellow button. The second question I want to answer was from another listener who was asking about one of the self-coaching techniques I introduced last week, reframing. We spoke about using this technique when reviewing all the obstacles on your journey, where I suggested you look at them as stepping stones instead. This was a quick hack of the concept of reframing the meaning or story we tell ourselves about something. So we changed the obstacles, traps, and blocks to our happiness and success into stepping stones on our journey to our future vision. And then we did it again, we reframed again, by taking another step further and reframing our stepping stones as strategies, the actual how we get to our goals. Reframing is called cognitive reframing, and it's a common strategy that therapists and coaches use to help clients look at situations from a slightly different perspective. It originated with Aaron T. Beck, the father of cognitive therapy, in the 1960s. He worked primarily with depressed patients, and his work underlies so much of how therapists today work with clinical depression and severe anxiety disorders. He noticed that helping his clients to shift their mindset to think more positively lessened their depression. The essential idea behind reframing is that your point of view depends on the frame you view something in. When the frame is shifted, the facts still stay the same, but the meaning changes, the emotional tone changes, and your thinking and behavior often changes along with it. The most well-known reframe is the expression, "Is the glass half full or half empty?" Or you can think about it as looking at your obstacle as something you want to photograph. You look at it through the frame of your camera. You can change the angle, you can zoom in or out. By changing what is seen through the camera lens, you can significantly change what your picture looks like. You've reframed your obstacle. Our brains are fascinating, aren't they? How such a simple technique can have such massive impact in our lives. There'll be many more of these techniques in our series 2 on brain management as you learn how to coach yourself with me. I'm sure you will agree there really is no better time to do this work together. Before I end off, I want to let you know that my 8-week one-on-one coaching program for difficult relationships is now available for bookings. Do you have a difficult boss, a negative coworker, or a critical leadership team? Do these relationships bother you? Do they get in the way of your happiness and success at work? I can help you to transform these troublesome relationships forever. You shouldn't lose any more sleep worrying about work. You won't need a glass of wine after another horrid day, nor will you bore your friends and family with the next installment of how awful they are. In just 8 weeks of individual coaching with me, we can end your worry, your anxiety, anger, frustration, or even shame that you might be feeling about that difficult person you have in your life. Over the 8 weeks, we coach one relationship, and you'll master 10 skills that you'll be able to apply to and transform any other relationship in your life. Sounds good, doesn't it? If you're interested, you can book a 20 minutes consult session with me to see how I can help you. Or you can go directly to booking and payment on our website. Just go to Happiness-Matters.coach and click on the yellow button. We start coaching from the week of the 19th of August and we end late October 2019, and there are 15 places available. My next available dates are February 2020, so why wait? Join me now and get it done this year. Thinking ahead, if you're listening to this much further in the future, you'll find everything you need on our website. I really look forward to coaching with you to transform your most difficult relationships on your journey towards happy and successful, no matter what. See you in our next episode 1.6, What's Most Difficult for You, where we continue digging into what's standing between you and your success, between you and your happiness 10 out of 10. Bye for now from a chilly winter's afternoon in Cape Town. I'm off to walk the dogs before the rain arrives.
Thanks for joining us on this Happiness Matters podcast. Do join us again here next week on Tuesday. You can subscribe to this series at Apple Podcasts on iTunes, or you can sign up for it on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach. That's Happiness-Matters.coach. COACH. Also, you can join our conversation on Facebook by following us there. Our Facebook page is also Happiness-Matters.coach.